Please, please, one is speaking. What's that?
I see we are starting in 2 minutes time.
Good evening once again.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Please, we are starting right now, so you have to have your microphone off so that we don't get disturbed by the background noise, please. If you don't have any information you want to share with us, it's appropriate to put your microphone on off.
Hey, me mute.
Okay, so today marks the beginning of our data analysis, or if you like, data analytics session of the course for the semester. And I've already told you of the tools we are going to use, predominantly going to be Python, even though along the line we'll try to infuse Excel inside it. We are not going to place so much emphasis on Excel. Reason is that you should have enough Excel knowledge already, especially the basics. And what you need to do on top of that basic knowledge or foundational knowledge you have is that the cases we'll be looking at, you'll get the opportunity to work them with Excel. So that's the way you have to bring your Excel skill to some speed. But much of the focus is going to be on Python. Okay, so please, we have started the session. When you join, remember to put your microphone off. You are not interested in the conversation you are making. That's not the reason why we are organizing the meeting. So you need to respect the reason why we are doing the meeting. So you have your microphones off when you join. You'll be given a chance to put them on and make a comment or ask a question if that becomes necessary. And again, to improve the connectivity, I think it will be beneficial for you to put your videos off. What we are coming to do in terms of the analytics is the most important thing, and I think that's the one we should get pictures on. Not your room background, not your face so much at this point in time. Okay. So let's see how it goes. I already have told you of what the basic stuff we will need in terms of the applications. So you're supposed to install Anaconda. Anaconda is an application which bundles the Python software, which is the interpreter, and a host of other programming environments which can make your life as a learner easier, more comfortable. So that's why we want to start with Anaconda, so that we don't waste so much time with setting up the environment. It is believed that you have installed Anaconda on your computers because I told you and I sent you the link to get the Anaconda application and videos on how to do that. Videos are very simple to understand. And it was also expected that if you had any challenges setting up your environment, you will consult your learning community members, or you can even consult the office. So we just expect that you have your environment well set up. And therefore, we go ahead. At the moment, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to quickly go over the process of installing Anaconda. Just go over it because it's expected that you have done that already. And then we will focus on what we want to do this evening. Okay, so if you can see my screen, you can make me understand. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes, sir.
We can see your screen.
Thank you. So to install Anaconda, you just need to join the session and watch what I'm going to do. You are not supposed to be writing anything on your screen to disturb the class. If I find that that's what you are doing, I will just remove you from the class forever. It's as simple as that. Let's be disciplined to make the session smooth. So installing Anaconda is so straightforward. You can just go to Google, and then let's say you don't know the address to the page where you can directly get the Anaconda application, and you don't need to know the address specifically. Just type something about it. So I have been typing something about it. So you can just type something like Anaconda download. So Anaconda download. And it will bring you search results. And of course, you will see the homepage of Anaconda distribution, where you can get the application to download. So I'm just going to click on this one. That's all you need to do. This is the link I sent to you. And then you can okay, so when you come to this page, you see a lot of things. We just want to find where we'll get some download button. Or what we can do is that we can go back. I mean, they should have given us that page straightforward. So we can come back to here, installing on Windows. I think this is also about documentation. No problem. What I really wanted to dodge is to kind of waste time and do these things. So it's saying provide, I think their page changed a little bit. I think they're interested in taking information about the activities you are doing. So provide email to download distribution. That's the first page, the same page that's we went to previously. So just provide this information and I think you have access to the download page. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so afterwards you have the page where you can see download now. And then if you're a Windows user, you get, of course, you can even come down where we have the separate categories for the operating systems. You can click here to download for Windows. And when you download this one, it's also showing you the Python version, which the Anaconda will automatically install on your computer. It should be around the latest or the most stable version, which is the latest. So what we see here is version 3.12. If you're a Mac user, you can use the links here, one of them, to get it downloaded. If you are a Linux user, this is what you do. So if you're a Windows user, you just click here, and then you follow the process. It will first download it somehow on your system, and then installs it. Installing it is just by way of going through next process to get it installed. Not so much complications to actually waste our time on. So you go through this process and you should have your Anaconda installed. When you get your Anaconda installed, then you have to go and open the Anaconda Navigator. You can just click on the Windows button on your keyboard and just type. Immediately you press on it, you will get the stats menu open up. Just type Navigator or Anaconda Navigator. You see some green circle. That's how the icon looks like. So I will just show you how it looks like, just how I'm explaining it. So at this moment, I will change my screen to the interface of the Anaconda Navigator if you have it opened. So this is how you have to do it, the process you need to go through to get your Anaconda Navigator show up on your screen as you're seeing on my screen. You can just press on the Start menu, the Windows button to evoke the Start menu, and just type Navigator. So you will see Navigator there, and then you click on the icon. You can even pin the icon to the taskbar, because in most cases you will go there to practice, with Python. Yeah. Let's talk a bit about the interface you're seeing. This shows you a lot of buttons which are predominantly the environments, the programming environments where you'll be typing your codes. And then these environments are connected to the Python interpreter. So when you run the code, Python looks at what you have typed. If everything is correct, if you have spoken right, it executes what you typed. Otherwise, it gives you a feedback about what is possibly wrong with the code. And how you can fix it. Once it gives you information about where the code is wrong, the line where we have the error, you can see, oh, okay, I missed this thing. Then you just fix it. So that's what each one of these things here largely does. We are not going to talk about all of them, but it will be appropriate if you can familiarize yourself with them. This one is PyCharm. PyCharm is a very fantastic programming environment. When we say programming environment, it basically means some space where you can type your code, and it has other tools that you can use to check, whether the code is right. And then it also has some functionalities where you can get some screen tips about how the code should be like. So largely, they support your smooth coding project. PyCharm is fantastic if you want to know about how you code in that environment and how it is made up. It's just some click away, finding some tutorial about how it is used. This, I think, is a new addition, Anaconda AI Navigator. I have not really used it, but you have to be experimental. You can check it and see. It's good that you also experiment with Spider, the Spider IDE. It also has some nice interface I think you will love. And then you have Notebook or Jupyter Notebook, which for most Python programmers we use. Jupyter Notebook and Jupyter Lab essentially are the same. The lab is a little bit an enhancement of the notebook, but the whole project started with a notebook, so it's still maintained as the classical notebook, and this is an enhancement. The lab, the Jupyter Lab, is an enhancement of the Jupyter Notebook. I prefer to code using the Jupyter Lab, but there is not much difference between the two. So we'll be doing our programming, everything we want to experiment using the lab, the Jupyter Lab. Other things that you can read on and explore to just see how it works. The best way to learn is to be curious to know how things work. You don't take it because someone has said it. What someone said can be true, but it can change. How about it? So when you know exactly how it works, that's the best way to know about things. So you can experiment with them. Any questions so far? Okay, no question. So now let's launch our Jupyter Notebook. You do so by just clicking on the launch button placed at the bottom of this tile, the tile for the Jupyter Lab. So when I click on it, it will run the code to open the lab, and it will open in a browser. So your default browser, most likely to open it. And then when you open it for the first time, this is what you will see. Okay, so you will see an interface like this one, essentially this white space with some rectangular box. This is how you will see it. At the right side, you can see that we have some bar here, and then we have some folder icon here. When you click on it, it tries to show you the locations on your computer, including where the file will save. And then you can also click on this one and check the number of kernels which are currently running. You can forget about some of these things later. You will get well with them. Okay. So you open the notebook. See, when you click on here, let me talk about this one. The launcher shows you the various ways that you can open a coding environment. You can use a notebook, so you can see on top of your notebook, or you can use a console. Console is some command prompt, not too much. I mean, in fact, there's no graphics there, just some text and then just command. The old way of doing things, not really the old way, some programming needs to be done by that means. So you either do notebook or you do console, depending on the need. We are going to do notebook. So when you click on it, it will launch like this one. It launches with a default name on title 1. If you do another one on title 2, until you give the notebook a customized name. And the way to do that, one of the ways to do that is to right-click on it, right-click on the notebook tab, this one. This is the one we just opened. Right-click on it, and in the menu that comes, you will see rename notebook. You choose that one and you just give it a name. So let's say ACC 204. That's okay, ACC 204. So immediately you do that, you can see that the file has renamed. The file is renamed. And then you can proceed. Now let's talk a few things about the interface. In notebooks, this rectangular box you see is called a cell. So the idea is that you probably, for our case, we are learning it for the first time, so we want to probably run our program in smaller bits so we see that each part of the code we are writing is running well. So we can run just a piece of the code and run it and see if it goes well. If there's an error, it will tell us, then we edit it, fine tune it before we kind of take it to a bigger level. So that's the idea of these cell by cell. So I can add another cell, for example, sorry. So I can add cells, plenty cells, but you don't necessarily need to be adding cells like the way I'm doing it from the word go. If the need arises, you can simply do that. So it by default opens with just one cell. And then you can have two main types of cells. You can see more than two, but we are going to talk about the two main: code cell and markdown cell. The code cells Sorry, please, can you see my screen? I just got an alert that the screen was not properly shared. Please let me know if you can now see the screen. Can you see the screen now, please?
Yes, sir, we can see the screen.
Okay, so let me take
Please, can you start over everything? We didn't see what you taught earlier.
exactly. So I'm going to take ourselves back a bit so that nobody will get lost anywhere. So I started by saying, if you have, did you see the Anaconda Navigator page where you can see a lot of programming environments, what is called integrated programming environment, like Jupyter?
But we didn't know the one you were launching. So we saw on the homepage.
Yes, you launch the Jupyter Lab. When you launch the Jupyter, in fact, when you click on the Jupyter Lab, you will see this interface. You will see this launcher, which is asking you, do you want to open or you want to open a console? So when you say open a notebook, you click on it and it will open a notebook like this one. So that is how far we have come. We have not done anything. And then we also said, if you open the notebook for the first time, Jupyter Lab gives you a default name for the file, the Jupyter notebook file you have created. It gives it untitled 1. If you create another one, it will do 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So it will be needful for you to rename the file to a descriptive expression, something about what you are doing. So that's what we did. Just by right-clicking on the notebook tab, as you can see here. And then in the menu, you just choose rename. And you supply the name that you want to give to it and say rename. And that's it. So you see the rename to be ACC204 because that's the name we give to it. And then you also, when you click on this folder bar, you'll be able to see the location where the file is currently saved. And you can, just in case if you want to move it from here, you can cut it and paste it somewhere and so on and so forth. So just explore these options. When you right click, you can see the things there. Try and explore, click on something and see nothing will happen to your computer. Are you okay so far? Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So we were saying that this interface, this rectangle where we have the cursor blinking, it is called a cell. And we can add multiple cells. When you hover your mind like this, you can even see, click to add a cell. When I click, you see you can add cells, or you can run this current cell in such a way that after that cell is executed, an empty cell should come up. So let me take the opportunity to tell you how we run the cell. When you type something, for example, I'm going to do something, you shouldn't necessarily understand what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to do something. Okay, so if I want to, I'm coming. So for the start, it will open with one cell. because if you need more cells, you can add more cells yourself. So it needs not to open automatically with many cells. So I have typed in this cell. I just want to show you another way that you can add a cell just by running the current cell in such a way that after executing that cell, another cell, empty cell automatically comes. When I do Alt, press my Alt key down, I'm using Windows machine. You can find out about the key combination when you are using Mac. I guess most of you will be using Windows. So when you click on the Alt key, press the Alt key down and you press Enter. That runs the current cell and automatically opens a new cell ready to take input. So in most cases, this is how you'll be adding the cells as opposed to adding them before you feed them with data. Good. Now you can have two main types of cells in Jupyter Lab. Two main. So when we click here, when you see here where we have code, and you can see with some drop down. So let's click on the drop down and see the options there. We have code, we have Markdown, we have raw. We are going to talk only about the code and the Markdown. That's what we need. Which also means these are the two main cells or types of cells that we can have. The default cell is code cell because it's actually for coding. Then the question is, what is the Markdown cell for? So at the moment, this is a code cell. What will make you see it's a code cell is that when the cell is active, like it is now, you will see that here will register code. Let me change it to Markdown, and you will know how to do those kind of changes very soon. When I change it to Markdown, you will see that when that same cell is active, you see Markdown. So now let's change it back to code cell. What do we do with code cell? And what do we do with Markdown cell? The code cell is where you'll be typing your code, like when we're doing the database, you saw the SQL editor. You can't type it in Word. We were not typing it in just any other space, but in the SQL editor. So here, similar thing is happening. This is your environment, your programming environment. The code cell takes your codes. And when you run, the interpretation is that this is a code. The Markdown cell works this way. When I do my coding, the coding usually is a project. For example, we can be doing a project for the analysis of, let's say, our club, social club membership, monies that we have been able to generate from our training programs and from dues or subscriptions. So we will pull the data from the database, and we want to do some analysis. We do the analysis by writing codes to interpret the data. That's what we do in Python data analysis or Excel data analysis. So you write a code to manipulate the data to kind of explore the data for whatever insights you want. As you are doing that, you are kind of trying to create some data story. Oh, okay, this blah, 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 blah. So this is what the data is telling us. And therefore, when we do this, we can expect this, blah, blah. It's some storytelling. And you cannot tell a complete story by writing only code. And of course, many of the people that you want to be audience to what you are doing They don't have that technical understanding of interpreting codes. So you will have to be adding descriptive words, partly for that exercise of explaining it to non-technical users. And even for technical users, you still will want to explain things in some brief way to guide your coding partners, your team members, or any other who take your code and wants to probably understand and build something upon it. So this is for some text interpretations. And of course, if you are using the online version of this, which is called Colab. Colab is developed by Google. So you can search for it by using the expression. When you say Colab, it will come. I think that's the only program that is called Colab. Or Google Colab. The interface is like the same thing you are seeing here, just that it is hosted on the web, on Google's server. So you use your browser and load it into your browser and work with it. And every resource you are using is provided by Google. So you do not need to have a bigger computer which can install this. If the computer can access the web, you still can do your Python programming by using Colab. So put it somewhere that you will have to read something about Google Colab. Not just reading it like you're reading a storybook, but reading it such that you know how it works. That's the meaning of learning. How does it work? So that you can use it to work. Okay. If you are using Google Colab, you will even understand the meaning I am giving to, or the explanation I'm giving about the Markdown cell better. Instead of using Markdown, which can be a bit confusing or sounds a little bit technical, Google Colab uses the expression text. Yeah, because we are doing text and code. The text tries to explain the logic and the meaning and what we are trying to do with the code. That's all it is. So today we'll introduce ourselves briefly to the text part, the explanation part. So when we want to provide explanations, we want to kind of design it such that, oh, okay, it's a complete document with explanatory text, with codes, blah, 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 that makes it complete. How do we know about how to add the text to the code? We are starting with that. So you just saw what I did. When you have to probably, okay, we are starting a project. We want to give the project a title. So when you open your notebook for the first time, this is what you see. I want us to go back so I can explain certain things well. Changing it from a code cell to Markdown cell, you can click here where you see this, where you see my cursor with some square brackets here. You can click here. When you do that, it selects the whole cell. And then you can do cell level editing. That's all the meaning of it. So when you have selected it like this, you can press M. I'm just trying to give you some shortcuts, even though you can use your mouse. You can press M, M for Markdown. When I press M, you will see that it has changed from code to M, and you can press Enter to enter it. Or when it is even a code cell like this, sorry, you can click inside and come here and say, I'm changing it to Markdown. It does the same thing. Then in Markdown, it means that the cell is engineered to take text and show text. So it will not read or it will read, even if you type code, it will read it as text, explanatory text. It will not run it as a code. It will not interpret the code. Okay, so there's a whole language, yeah, not a full-blown language with so much logic like Python itself, but it's just some tagging language where we can use some tags to change the appearance of the text. For example, I can type, welcome to our first programming session. Yes, when I run, of course, you can also use the mouse and press on this play button, it is run. But in most cases, your hand is already on the keyboard, so it's more faster using the keyboard to run. You can do Alt plus Enter or Shift plus Enter. They do the same job. So when I run this, you see that it is text because the cell was formatted as Markdown and therefore text, but this may not be how we want it to appear. For example, the reports we are doing, we want to show, let's say, title. Titles appear different from some of the explanations. Most cases, title appear bigger with some other formatting, maybe bolder and so on and so forth. So there are ways that you can change this text. So that's what we call the Markdown tags. So I apply some tags to this text, or I encase this text into some tags, and that tells the program that, okay, I want this text to appear this way. So for example, in Notebook, when I do the hashtag 1 space to this text, let's run it and see. Now the appearance of the text has changed. So the meaning of this hashtag is for headings. And we can have several levels of heading. First level heading, second level, or heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. In Markdown, Jupyter Notebook, we have 6 levels of heading. So heading 1 to 6. So when I do hashtag 1, this is...
Everyone types something. It's always exploring this. Oh, you people, what is it? Well, what's the thing also make me?
You can remove them from the class.
Dennis. Ito, oh, yun ang to.
Yeah, no, no. Başa ne oldu? Ben öbürsü ne?
Şey. Bir de. Oh.
People could be wasn't.
My audio is on.
Okay, let's continue. So this first, when you do £1 symbol, like I have done here, it means you want to format whatever you have typed as heading level 1. So when I do this and run, you'll see that, okay, it's bigger. Now let's format this one too as Markdown and do hashtag two of them and type the same thing. Welcome to our first programming session. And let's run it. So you can see this also formats the text, but you can see some difference. The first one is bigger. It's because the header level is 1. This one is 2. And when you do 3, when you do 3 and run it, so let's run all of them. You can see that as you are increasing the number of the pound signs, you are getting the formatting different. It's just becoming smaller and smaller. So this is for headings and the various levels of headings. How about if we type some text? So let's say this is heading, and then under this, we type some text. It is fun to program. To program in Python. You can try it yourself, sort of. What if we want to place some emphasis on the word Python in what we have typed? The emphasis can come in the form of we boldening the Python we have typed here, or maybe we italicizing it, or underlining it, or even all of them at the same time. What do we do? What tags do we put on this text to make it change the appearance? So you can, when you want to go into the edit mode, so this one, you see it in the mode where it has finished running. To enter into edit mode, you double click the cell, yes, and you see it like this. So now we can do some tagging to this word. We want it to be maybe bolder. We want it to be whatever. In Jupyter Notebook Markdown, you can achieve that thing by some multiple ways. You can use double asterisks, for example, like this. And then you do that, you encase the text you want to format in that symbol. So you do before it and then after it. Even without running, you see some effects. When you are experimenting it on your computer, you will see this thing. Without running it, immediately the tagging is completed, you see the effect. Now, when I run, you will see that only the word Python has changed in appearance because we have tagged it. And the meaning of that tag is to make it appear bold. Another way you can do the same bold thing, so let's remove this one. Oh no, you can keep it there and probably use this one. Use the second one to show another thing. Okay, so here, instead of bold, or another way of boldening the same thing, not using asterisks, you can also use double underscore, just in case the text you want to change the appearance, encase it in double underscore. Just like with this one is double asterisk. So this one will be double underscore. It does the same thing. So it's two ways of doing the same thing. So I do it and I do it at a close. And even before running, immediately you complete the tag and you see the effect. When I run, you will see that this also does the same thing. Now let's run the first one for you to see. You all have the same effect. The word Python is boldened. What if you want to italize? If you want to italize, at the moment, this is how it is, the third one. We want to italize it. What we will do is we can use this same way, similar, just modifying the two ways we have used and they achieve the same thing. First one, double asterisk is for boldening the text. When we do only one asterisk, it italicizes it. So I encase the text in one asterisk, not double. And when you run, you will see that Python is italicized. It also means that we can use one of the other type. This one, the second one, double underscore, when it encases the text, it boldens it. When we don't use double underscore, but we use one, that also does the same job. Yeah. So in writing your narratives of your coding, all the story you want to tell, there will be the need to do these kind of things. That's why we are taking our time to learn them. I think there might also be the need to probably enumerate some stuff, maybe number them, or list some things. So it can be unordered lists where you don't number them A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, which speaks some order. Sometimes we use bulletin if we don't want to communicate anything like the things we are listing are ordered. So let's see unordered lists. You can do that in many ways. You first need to format the cell as Markdown or text. So I choose it and come back. And if I want to add some text, I'll say, okay, this is the list, for example. And then I'm going to format this one, as a heading, sort of. So I will do pound signs. Let me do 3. So third level heading. And then when I come down, do colon and come down, I want the list to show. Several ways to do that. One way is to just press on your space bar to bring space, and you can do dash space, and let's say orange. So it's some list of maybe some. And then we come down, let's say banana. Okay, so at the moment, maybe you're not seeing the effects. Well, let's run and see if everything is okay. Yes, so you can see that we have a list like you would have typed it in Word or some other word processing document. So this is how you turn your Jupyter notebook or Jupyter Lab into Word, so that you don't do your coding in one environment and you have to go and write up in, let's say, PowerPoint or Word. No, it's a waste of time. Everything is here. So you just need to learn this simple tagging language, which formats your text the way you want it to appear, and that's okay. Okay. Now let's see how we do a table. The tagging, the tags that you have to do to format your text can be many because there are many ways you may want to show your text. You may probably want to do some equation, write it in some professional formatting way. So there's a notebook tag which helps you to write the formula in that way. If you want to do a table, so we are going to look at how to do a table. We will not be able to exhaust all of them in this session. So subsequently, I will give you extra information so easy to understand, except if you don't read it. If you read it, you should be fine. So I'll supply you with all of those things so that you master this way of turning your notebook into word processor or PowerPoint so that you can narrate your story together with your code. Okay, so let's see the table. So if I want to create a table, you just need to, we use pipes and dashes or hyphens to mark the structure of the table. So if I do something like pipe, so pipe is on your keyboard. If you can't find it, you can read about it, what the pipe is like, and you can, okay, this is the pipe. On my keyboard, I have to press Shift and the key that has the pipe symbol. And in most cases, yours will also be like that. So pipe, then I do, let's say, heading. Then I do pipe. So this is like one column, sort of. So let me say heading 1. That will make it more explanatory. Heading 1. So then that ends the column. So that's that second pipe. And then I do heading, let's say 2. And then I do pipe. If I have to do heading 3, so let's do it. Heading 3, I do pipe. Sorry. So this is like creating some 3-column distance. Then because this is heading, I have to kind of underline the heading, you understand, so that it becomes like a normal table. So we are just kind of sketching a normal table the way we see it using the pipe and the hyphen. And that's all you need to do, and the program will interpret it as table. This shouldn't be difficult to do. So let me see if this one will run well. Maybe I'll have to do some, no. So let me get back and see something. Okay, so it has to be continuous. I was trying to underline it based on, it doesn't even make sense that way. It's one table, so we underline all of them. I think when we run this, it will work. Yes. So it has created like a header for the table. So we can get back into it and develop this table further. So when I finish with this and come down and do pipe, so it's like, oh, this is first row. The row we have just finished with is the header row. So we are coming to the second row. So under heading 1, let's say we have 20. I think I can make it better. Let me make, instead of heading 1, let me make it quiz 1. But this is more familiar to us. Then quiz online lecture, maybe it's here. Sorry, so quiz 1, quiz 2, and let's say quiz 3. That will make sense. Press 3. Hello. Kasamiti. Batomi Basisi. Okay, so we have 20. Then we can move and find the other marching column pipe. So we do something like this. And then let's say this is 12. Let's say this is 10. Then we can come down, do a similar one, another row, let's say 13. 10. 19. Okay. So this gives us some structure of a table with a heading and 2 rows of data. Let's run and see. It didn't work exactly, so let's see what we can do. Let me just try something and see. Okay, so there were a few issues with it. So the first header, you have to pipe it the way I have shown it, and then you bring this line also guided by these pipes. I think this is the only difference in it. Then the rest of the data can be passed as we have done it. When you run it, this will try to show some table as we normally see it in Word. So you take some time, let me click so that we can go into it, to learn of how you kind of sketch the symbol for a table. So we are just only sketching a symbol for a table. Quiz 1 in this pipe, quiz 2, quiz 3. Then we have pipe, then we underline each one like this, and then we pass the rest of data. When you do it like this and you run, it will edit it as a table. The table can be a complex table, maybe bigger than this, and you want to probably sketch some table or do a word-like table like this one. You can tag the things you are typing with these symbols, and it will turn it into a table. Sometimes you also want to probably indicate that, okay, this is a ceiling for something. So let's say after this, we want to underline the whole of that section, show some sections in your document. I think when you do hyphen, three of them, let's run and see. Yes, when you do hyphen, 3 of them and run, you can see this line, which is passing under, as if we have closed the top section and this is another section. So this is few things we can say by way of introduction to the environment we will be using for our data analysis for computer applications in accounting. So we have looked at how you generally access the Anaconda package from the Anaconda website and install it. When you install it, how you open it, we have discussed the interface and the fact that we are interested in one of the integrated development environments there, which is called Jupyter Lab. You can also explore Jupyter Notebook, the classical one, Spider, PyCharm, and other things, but we are going to use Jupyter Lab. We have explained basically, or in some basic form, the interface of the Jupyter Lab or notebook, the interface of a typical notebook, where you can find your files and therefore the notebook file you are working on, and then the fact that the notebook is organized in cells, mainly code and text cells. And we have talked about how you can turn the notebook into a word processor where you type your narration or a PowerPoint so that you have your code and your story you are writing about the code all in the same place using what is called Markdown language, which is basically some tags we apply to text to change the way they appear. So this is where we'll end the session. If you have any questions, briefly, I have 2 minutes for that, and then we close the session and continue another time. Any questions?
So there's a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
I think I was not able to download the app at first place, so the first part I did not get it clear.
How to download it?
The starting point, I did not get it clear. Yeah, for now I'm done with the
Part of the
downloading,
starting
but
point?
you started like where you started welcome to our first programming session, how you wrote it and you highlight it, and I did not get it. I want to do it, but I'm not able to do it.
No problem. The session has been recorded. It's even showing live on YouTube. So you can go back to it. It's very simple.
Okay,
you
sir.
just watch it and you can do it, okay?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Any other question?
Thank.
Please, any other question?
Hello,
Okay,
sir.
so in the question, please go ahead and be quick. Okay, we want to save time.
Hello, sir.
Go ahead.
Please, I wanted to ask that, do you always have to check if you are in Teams or you are in MacBook before you make an input? Because I realized that when we were doing it, some of the things don't show if you run it because it's either in markup or it's in code, Markdown or on code.
Okay. So what you are saying is like a statement, not a question. Or it's like you are telling us that this is the observation you have, and maybe
Yes,
we can also
I
learn from it.
I know that.
Exactly, that's how it works. Different type of cell does different things. So based on what you are doing, you have to use the appropriate cell, Markdown or code, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Any other question? No question. Then
But
thank you.
sir,
Yes,
sir,
go
when
ahead.
you were rounding it, when you were launching the program, the Jupyter Lab, because
Yes.
the screen went off, like you were not seeing your screen. So I'm not sure when we go and check in the recorded version, we also see that. So if you can kindly reverse that action so that we all see it and see how you can label the file and everything, because that at
No
that point you're
problem.
not seeing
Okay,
it.
no problem.
Thank you very much.
So now you see a different screen, right?
Yes, please, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the Anaconda Navigator, which tries to make you have access to different programming environments, what we call integrated development environments, IDE for short. The one we are going to use from this list or this collection is the Jupyter Lab. We have stuff like Spider. I even have VS Code here. And we have PyCharm and some other ones. RStudio is here and so on and so forth. We are going to use this one. You can be curious enough to find out about, okay, how does this work? How is this one different from this? What's the strength of this over that, and so on and so forth? Because if we are using this, it doesn't mean this is the only thing in the whole world you can use. Otherwise, all of these other things wouldn't have been here. But this is the choice for the class. Maybe for your choice, not the class, you might probably want this one or that one. That's the reason why you need to explore and want to know about these stuff. But this is one very good environment for programming Python or doing Python programming, Jupyter Lab. So we clicked on Jupyter Lab like this, and it will open Jupyter Lab in a browser. So it will pick your default browser and open. And when it opens, this is how it appears. So now let me show that screen. Have you seen that screen now?
Yes.
So when you launch it, it appears first of all like this. Like this. If you are launching it for the first time where you have not created any notebook at all, it will launch with this interface. So this interface is asking you that, do you want to create a notebook? So you can see notebook here, but there's another thing here. So this notebook is corresponding to this tab, which will create Python 3 notebook environment for you. And you can see another heading here, console. So you can open a notebook or console. And this is the tile that you click on to create the console. We are going to do only notebook. So we clicked on this, and then it opened a notebook session for us. And then we said it will give names, it will give default names like Untitled 1, Untitled 2, as you can see here. So you will have to rename it to your specific name by right-clicking it and then selecting from the menu, Rename Notebook. And you'll see something like this. You just type to overwrite what has been selected. So that's basically what we did in that session. Are you okay?
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Okay. So thank you very much for your attention. We'll meet another time.